and also the measurement scale as our guest speaker for today. She's a dynamic and engaging speaker who advises top executives on leading global organizations. And her passion in turning data and insights into action to enable teams and organizations to grow, scale, and sustain change inspired her to create the Agility Health, which is the #1 and the world-leading measurements and continuous improvement platform. I want to believe almost everyone on this platform have seen Agility Health, and most of you have used the Agility Team Health Radar. And also, she's the brain behind the most popular Agile video platform out there that provides a short on-demand video for digital and agile talent development at scale. Many of us have been blessed with Sally's video out there, and I think I've watched almost 30 of your videos. Sally is an activist. She's the founder of the nonprofit Sudan Next Gen. She's going to talk a little bit about it. And also the co-founder of Africa Next Gen, which is the next destination for D2 jobs outsourcing for African youth. And I'm so proud to say that she's a board member of Africa Agility Foundation. Sally is blessed with 3 beautiful children. And when she's not busy serving the world at large, she loves listening to music, and also she loves traveling. So let's give a round of applause as we welcome Sally Elata, who is our amazing, great, and brilliant speaker for today. So Sally, we are so excited to have you on our platform.
I am so humbled by that. Such a warm welcome. Thank you so much, Anu. You are amazing. You are the star. So thank you for allowing me to join your stage here and hopefully give something amazing and some knowledge today to all of the audience that's here. Welcome everybody. Hello, my African Agile friends. This is such a wonderful community to be part of. I'm very excited to be here. I don't get to speak a lot to this community, and so I'm just so glad that Anu and I are starting to do so much work around transforming and bringing agility to Africa and making Africa the next destination for even digital outsourced jobs. And we just have some big dreams. I remember when Jesse Fuel introduced me to Anu, he said, you're going to meet a lady, and I think both of you guys together are going to do big things for Africa. And when I met her, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I found somebody busier than I am, who's also a mother, but her passion and just the light that you shine from your heart for wanting to make a difference for Africa really is inspiring, Anu. So thank you. All right, let me share my screen and get started on our presentation. Before I get started right away, I wanted to tell you about Africa Next Gen and Sudan Next Gen so that you're a little bit aware of what Anu and I have got going on. We started this, so Anu has a nonprofit organization called Africa Agility, and I started about 2 years ago the nonprofit called Sudan Next Gen. With the revolution that was happening in Sudan, it's just very hard to watch something like a revolution happen without doing something about it, without stepping in to say, how can we use our agile skills to do something different? So I started the nonprofit organization, and Anu and I basically came together maybe about 4 months ago now and said, why can't Africa be the next outsourcing destination? How can we take what she has done in Nigeria, which is a very successful boot camp style, where she brings in girls in tech and trains them and develops them within these 3 months boot camps and provides them mentorship and gives them digital skills and agile, and the Scrum Alliance was so gracious to sponsor that and also give them the CSM certification. Why can't we do that at scale and then help the African youth get jobs, outsourced jobs? And so that is exactly the vision that we have. And so it's at very early stages where we're going to be piloting this in Sudan and in Nigeria. And we're always looking for internship sponsors, people that are willing to open up the jobs for these folks, financial sponsors who will be willing to support these programs. And Anu, your next boot camp is coming up in September. Is that right? The Girls in Tech?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
September 6th to 24th.
September 6th. And the last one was so amazingly successful that the governor of Lagos came and saw the graduates, and he was so impressed. And he said, you know, people, I've been working on some of these problems that you've solved for the last, 2 years, and here you are in just a few months, you already solved them with the technology and the skills, and I've never seen anything happen so fast. And that's because of agility and digital skills. Anu, do you want to say anything more about that program and what skills you were able to provide these girls? Because I think it's very inspiring.
Okay, thank you. Some of the girls are here as well. And so we provided data science, artificial intelligence, web development, machine learning. And girls, help me out, I'm blanking out right now. What am I missing? About 5 D2 skills. Come on, ladies.
Marketing, I think, and agile.
Yeah, and agile as well. So yeah, I think I covered those 5 or 6 most popular D2 skills out there that organization are looking for.
That's wonderful. So thank you, Anu, for being the trail leader for that. And that is why we created within Sudan Next Gen the Youth Digital Jobs Program. This is part of Africa Next Gen. And our first bootcamp is going to launch in December or January of this next year. And these will be the skills that we're focusing on. So just wanted to give you guys that quick update to let you know how much work that we're doing related to bringing these skills to Africa. Now I want to kick off with our own presentation here, which is around real world agility. How can we use what I call a learn, measure, and grow model to scaling agile knowledge within your organization? How can you really start to think about not doing this within 1 team or 2 teams, but doing it at scale and bringing what I call business agility to the forefront, and not just focus on agile. So Anu already gave you a lot of my background, so I really won't go through any more. As you can see, we're known for Agility Health, which is the measurement platform, agilevideos.com, which all of you, I'm going to welcome you and give you access to it, which is our on-demand learning platform, and then EBA, which is just the strategy model. We really believe that if you want to scale and accelerate and do things that are bigger, you have to invest in learn, measure, and grow, and scale and develop your talent. And learning always starts with you as an individual. How can I learn Agile? How can I learn about my role? And how can I actually take what I learn and apply it? Measure and grow is as a team or as a group of teams. How can we assess where we are today? Be open and honest about what is great, what are we doing well, but where is it that we need to improve, and then use data to make informed decisions. And then scale is about developing talent. So really looking at, because you're not going to scale if your people don't know how to scale. So how can I create better Scrum Masters, product owners, even in the future, data analysts, digital skills? How can I really build talent so that we can accelerate and achieve business agility? So the first thing I wanted to do is just ask you, because we are going to talk about business agility, but first I wanted to ask you, what does Agile mean to you? When I say that your organization is using Agile ways of working, what does that mean to you? If you don't mind describing that, I'd like you to go to Slido.com. If you guys have used Slido before, go to Slido.com and enter in the number 650894. And just answer that simple question. And I'm going to go there with you right now as well to Slido.com and answer the question of, how would you describe when I say Agile ways of working? What's different there? Slido.com, 650894 to enter, and then provide your answer. I'll give you about a couple of minutes. Agile is a mindset. Thank you to the first person who responded here. So it's a way of thinking. Do you want to speak up? Maybe unmute yourself. How is Agile a mindset? Are they able to unmute themselves, Anu? I don't want to be speaking.
Yes, they can.
Okay. Anybody can jump in here. How is Agile a mindset? Because a lot of people say that, and some people don't know what that means. I think somebody was trying to unmute. Okay, I'll continue to read. relentless improvement, ability to navigate unknown constraints. I love that one. Transparency, alignment, customer centricity. Love that one. Flow, maximizing flow. Collaboration with each other. Love. Customer centricity, we talked about that one. A lightweight approach to project development and product management. Faster delivery, higher quality with feedback at every step of the process. Fluidity, so I like that one very much as well. Being flexible, being adaptable. Relentlessly improving. So you can see here, it's a mental reset. I like that one. A mental reset, because our old way of working, our old way of thinking is we plan. We design. We develop and make something happen. And then we test and we show results. And then of course it's too late because it takes too long. But in Agile, our whole way of thinking is, I don't need to get the big thing done now. Give me the shortest, smallest thing that I can see now and give you feedback so that we can adjust. So we always talk about the MVP. What's the minimal viable product? What's the smallest thing that you can give me? Because Agile teams are focused on value delivery, right? We're always focused on value and getting feedback. So I'm going to ask you a second question. What does business agility mean to you? So we just talked about Agile. I want to take you now to the next one. When I say not the team is working in Agile ways, when I say this organization has achieved business agility, what are we talking about there? This company, this nonprofit, this government has achieved business agility. Let's see what's the difference in your mind between the two. Responding to changing market circumstances. So this organization is able to navigate and respond to changing market circumstances. I love that. Delivering value fast to the customer, whatever the customer needs, we're able to adjust and deliver to them. The ability of the business to respond to changing. Notice how the word response to change is coming up. And then here we go, adapt quickly to market changes, being able to respond to customer needs, fast and predictable delivery. Interesting, do you guys see that? So you're starting to see fast speed, you're seeing responsiveness to change, competitive advantage, because we want to disrupt before being disrupted, right? The ability to compete and thrive in a digital age by quickly responding to market emerging opportunities with innovative digitally enabled business solutions. I love that definition, whoever's got that one. That's great. Disrupt your normal business norms. Evolution of values. Transacting using Agile principles. I love. Okay, wonderful. So this definition that I'm going to show you is not any better than what you just came up with. This is something that I created with Evan Laybourne, and it's actually the way we came up with this is the combination of exactly what you just did. It's the ability, business agility is the ability to adapt to change. Notice how you all came up with the word adapt to change quite a bit. Learn and pivot. Deliver at speed and thrive in a competitive market, because gone are the days where big companies can eat small. Today, fast companies eat the slow, and your ability to outlearn your competition might be your only sustainable competitive advantage. So now I want to show you a quick video of what does business agility look like? What does the journey of business agility look like? So give me 1 second. This link isn't, I thought it would automatically, there we go. All right, and let me make sure that you guys can hear the video. I'm gonna make sure everybody can hear it okay.
Hi, I'm Sally Alada, founder of Agility Health. And here at Agility Health, we are very passionate about accelerating our customers' enterprise business agility journey by helping them measure what matters. As we've worked with many customers, we're starting to see some common challenges and common patterns and solutions. So what I wanted to do is just draw this picture for you. Let's call this demand and capacity. Let's look at it from this perspective. On the demand side, the first challenge you're going to hear from customers and
We can't hear you again, Sally.
an output. So you'll see lots of initiatives, deliverables, epic stories, but not a lot of focus on outcomes. You'll also see that there's many competing business priorities that are coming in through silos, and everybody feels like their priority is number one. Another challenge is there's no discovery or validation of the ideas, and there's a lot of idea generators, multiple people with lots of great ideas. The problem that this causes is many of these ideas are actually duplicate. So you could have Joe and Adam and Jamie over here all asking for the same thing, but in different ways. As you go down through this funnel, you're going to realize that teams are not designed to optimize the flow of value. Teams today are all organized based on who reports to who. And so in order for you to get anything done, there's a lot of bottlenecks, there's a lot of shared service teams that are really over capacity, and there's a lot of handoffs and dependencies between them. As you come closer to the actual teams that get the work done, what you're going to see is they're overwhelmed. Teams are burning out. They will tell you they are buried in never-ending backlogs. The good news is by using Agile, we've started to organize our work a little bit better. So we have backlogs and we have cadences and we plan well, but it's still never-ending. Teams have no time to be creative or to solve problems the right way. Like, remember those 3 different features that we're all asking for the same thing? Nobody has time to focus on that. So this is a summary of some of the problems that we're seeing. And one of my quotes here that customers like is, if you want flow, stop the flooding. So let's take a look at this picture in a different way. How could we redraw this? Again, let's look at demand, discovery, and then let's flow outcomes. So this funnel looks a little bit different in that at the beginning, I want to create portfolio teams. This is a missing gap that we have today. We built teams and we built teams of teams, but we have not yet structured portfolio management teams that could really organize the work at the very top of the funnel. Portfolio teams really should be planning based on outcomes. What are my 3-year outcomes? What are my 1-year outcomes? And what are my quarterly outcomes? Those 1-year outcomes will map to your initiatives and your epics, and those quarterly outcomes will map to your deliverables or your features. Make sure that these outcomes, as they come into this funnel, are going through discovery. The purpose of discovery is to validate your ideas before you invest a lot in actually delivering them. Are these ideas valuable? Are they feasible? Are they usable? Another way to think about the value of discovery is, can we test something? We call it test it, nail it, before we scale it. Test it, nail it, scale it. Some cool techniques for doing discovery would be following the Mobius loop by doing discovery and then delivery, or even leveraging things like the 5-day sprint, or just building some fun mock-ups and showing them to customers quickly and getting very rapid feedback so that you can begin to experiment before you actually build. Now let's come into the teams. How do I want to organize and design my teams? I want to organize my teams so they can flow outcomes. So whether they're business teams or technology teams, whether they're product or engineering teams, and regardless of the reporting structure, we want to organize teams together in a virtual way so they can enable the flow of outcomes. To support this system that is designed to flow outcomes at the very top, we need leadership agility. We need to shift from the very directive style that we have today into more of enabling autonomy and delegating decisions down. We need to also invest in developing talent, because through this journey, you're going to see there's a lot of new roles that are going to be created, and a lot of roles that are today will need to shift, including the role of leaders. So developing talent and investing in growing our skills is another critical enabler. And when you enable the flow of outcomes across your enterprise, you will arrive at true business agility, where you are disrupting before you are disrupted. You become a learning organization and you can thrive in a competitive market. Thank you for watching.
All right, so let me hear your feedback. What resonated with you from this video? Let me stop sharing. I just wanna, you can either chat or you can speak live to me here from that story that I was drawing for you around business agility. What really spoke to you? What resonated? And don't be shy. You can unmute yourself or raise your hand if you want to, and we can ask you to unmute.
Femi Odelusi.
Hi, Sally. Hi, Anu, and hello, everyone. I put in chat there that comment about if you want to flow, you've got to stop the flooding. That speaks to so many things that happen within an organization, or the politics, or the ego tripping, or the hippos, or the power brokers who, want things done. Everybody shouts they want things done. And then when things don't happen, everyone shouts, why is it not happening? All they need to do is just watch this video, learn how to control the flow of work. And this is where structure is very important. So many frameworks in the market have different ways. Some people call it, value stream approach. Some people have a customer journey. Whichever approach you take, we've just got to have a control. And we've got to have a way of making sure that we're building the right thing for the right people at the right time. And we have a way of capturing feedback and making sure we get better at what we do.
Wonderfully said, Femi. That's great. We hear Pamela here is saying the importance of structure and flow to reach true agility. Thank you, Pamela. Other folks here, anything else that resonated with you, that spoke to you?
Yeah, there was a focus on outcome rather than output. So there is, I don't know why it's difficult to strike that balance, but if we're looking at the outcome, then we're focused on in that direction rather than what goes on in between. And I also did see like the bottlenecks are people. People can be bottlenecks, and with those demands and all of that, so it comes from people. So having that, I was trying to put it in working with people, really helping them understand certain things that goes on into planning, and knowing when and why we need certain things, right? Can put some direction or focus on outcome rather than the output.
Like helping people understand the why, because we as a community have focused a lot on the what and the how. What are we getting done? How are we going to get it done? What's the backlog? What's the sprint plan? And that is really important, because I will tell you the problem we were trying to solve is nothing was getting done. The right people were not collaborating. Nobody was giving feedback. So as an Agile community, we have focused so much on getting the work done and delivering, which is why Agile is considered a delivery methodology, and it does a great job at that. But it is now time to ask why. Why are we doing this? What problem are we trying to solve? And how are we going to measure success? That is what outcome-based planning means, which is aligning with your top leaders, your organizational leaders on what's the problem you're trying to solve, because we might actually have a better way of solving it, a faster way of solving it, a quicker experiment. So I think that's wonderful that you caught that, the focus on outcomes, not just output.
Simona, you raise your hand.
Let's get one more. Anybody like the test it, nail it, scale it? It rhymes, so everybody likes that one. Test it, nail it before you scale it. Also, we are very interested in scaling right away. When somebody comes up with an idea or a project or a portal or something we need to deliver, we're immediately thinking how we're going to launch the big version of that. Instead of thinking in the next quarter, how are we going to test it? In the following quarter, how are we going to nail it? And then maybe, in the third quarter, how are we going to scale this idea, as opposed to immediately developing the plan for scaling? So those are just some things that people like. Let me just share my screen one more time again, and we'll go back to the journey. So a lot of organizations that are on this journey, you're going to see them go through multiple steps of the journey. And I'm sharing this with you so you can think about, where are we? What are we focusing on right now? Usually they start with team agility. The focus is, how do we create high-performing teams, and how do we bring agility to the team level? And that usually means adoption of Scrum or Kanban, building cross-functional teams, bringing all of the right roles together, bringing in the right agile tools, installing Jira, Rally, version 1, whatever you're using, and then making sure the team is either co-located, or if they are working virtually, that they have the right working environment virtually. And that is all about team agility. The goal there is improve the flow and the value delivered by teams so that they can get work done. And then there is a focus on team of team agility. Well, I do have 1, 2, 3, 5 teams that we've piloted Agile on. Now, how do we scale it? And so team of team agility is really about scaling Agile. Obviously, you're all very familiar with scaled Agile and SAFe, and there's many other methods that are out there, but how do we plan at scale? How do I get 5 to 8 teams to all plan together, to deliver together, to manage dependencies together? Do I really want to be organized, as a train? And if I'm going to be organized at a team of team level, what is the right group of teams that I want to pull together? Is it okay for me to have some business teams and technology teams together, not just all of the payments team together, for example? What about my DevOps maturity? In what way can I start to think about continuous delivery, test automation, really think about the quality? So because the cost of speed is quality. So I don't want to deliver so fast that I'm starting to break the system. So DevOps really has become such a big priority, and DevSecOps with the security aspect of it as well. And then the other focus becomes leadership and culture. Leadership and culture is the role of managers and the role of leaders, because now that you have so many teams sprinting and you're really implementing Agile at scale, you have to start shifting the role of managers away from that command and control, directive, I tell you what to do, you follow my order, I reprioritize your work all the time, I move you, John, from one priority to another. That's a very old way of working. In the new way of working, managers and leaders have to be more strategic. They have to focus on talent development, build strong communities of practice, and remove obstacles from the teams. They do not need to manage the day-to-day work of the team, because the Scrum Master, the product owner, and the team, and any technical leads or solution leads are taking care of the day-to-day. But if I do raise my voice to you as a manager and say, hey, we've got an impediment, we've got an obstacle that is beyond our control, something we cannot resolve, then that is, again, where leadership needs to jump in and also resolve any talent gaps. Organizational agility is a very big topic right now. Everybody that we talk to is saying we are shifting from project management to product management. What they're basically saying is, before, they used to organize all of their teams by a project. So they'd bring teams together, and then when that project gets approved and funded, they have to finish the entire project. Once that project is done, the teams go back again, and then for the next project, the teams come. That has been known to be very disruptive, to not be extremely valuable, to be very project-centric. And so organizations are moving right now to product mentality, where you as a company are really thinking about, hey, what are the products and services that we offer? And how can we build a vision and a roadmap? And how can we build stable teams that will always be working on these areas and moving our vision and our outcomes forward? And we don't have the stop, start that's very project oriented. Portfolio management and lean portfolio management is all about outcome-based planning and changing your funding models. So you'll hear a lot about that. You'll hear organizations at the enterprise level talk about LPM, lean portfolio management, and beginning to plan quarterly, not just plan yearly, shifting to outcome-based planning. Digital transformation and value stream design. I mean, everybody's talking about digital right now. In what way am I automating some of my legacy processes? In what way am I changing my customer experience and creating a really great digital experience? That is at the forefront, because what do they say? Go digital or go home. If companies don't realize that, enabling digital transformation is going to be a key to their success, then they're probably going to be disrupted. Operational agility is all about bringing the rest of the business, HR, finance, sales, legal, marketing on the journey, because our objective is really to optimize the end-to-end flow of value, not just the technology flow of value. And so in order to do that, you're going to have to bring the rest of the value stream to this picture. What do we measure? So if this is the journey, and you're going to see that different companies are at different levels of their maturity. We talk about maturity in terms of crawl, walk, run, fly. And so when I share this kind of a slide with some of our companies here in the United States, they'll say, well, on team agility, I think we're like walk moving to run. Team agility, I think we're kind of crawl moving to walk. Org agility, we're still in crawl. And operational agility, we haven't started yet. So it's not phases, because you don't want to do it step by step. Honestly, the reason we show these as gears is almost all of them have to have some level of movement. But the more you can invest in all of them, and the more your engine's going to move faster, right? And that's why a lot of big companies, they have a transformation team and they divide and conquer. You know, they say, okay, you as a group, you build the LACE, the Lean Agile Center of Excellence, and you're going to be focusing on team and team of team agility. Your group over there is going to focus on the portfolio management and the product management. And this group over here is going to help me transform the culture, the leadership, and the talent development. So we do see a lot of companies now taking their transformation seriously and sort of breaking it into almost work streams, because when we talk about transformation to business agility, we're not talking about agile. So any comments or feedback or questions related to what I just shared here before we keep going on this journey of real world agility? Does it resonate with you? And you can also chat, submit any questions or feedback on the chat. All right, I'm going to keep flowing then. So how do we accelerate this journey? Like I mentioned, learn, measure, grow to accelerate the journey. So now I want to take you into the journey of how do we measure team agility and organizational agility. The first, and measurement is all we do, that's kind of our bread and butter. So the first message that I have for you is, if you ever, please remember this is a quote from me, if you ever punish or reward any of the teams or their managers for their metrics or the results that they show you, you'll never see the truth again. Everybody can game any kind of metrics. Any metrics can be gamed, whether it's coming from Agility Health, our platform, or Jira or any other platform, especially if you use it to punish or reward. Measurement should only be used to enable growth and development and improvement, and not be used to punish or reward. So please remember that. That's like rule number one, is we call it don't monkey with the data. Don't monkey with the data. Don't use it the wrong way, because it is amazing the amount of transformation and growth that you can achieve if you get real data. If people are open and honest and they feel psychological safety, they don't feel like they're going to be reprimanded or they're going to be punished for being open and honest. So now when we talk about measurement, there are three things to think about. One, what are we measuring? What are we trying to do? When you say we want to improve our DevOps maturity, or we want to improve our agile, or we want to be more customer-centric and focused, or we want to really improve our digital skills, whatever it is that you're saying that you want to improve, you have to have clarity and alignment around that definition, because your definition of DevOps and my definition of DevOps might be different. So when I show you these radars that we've developed, that's the main purpose of a radar. A radar is just a visual to say, hey, what problem are we trying to solve? What does crawl, walk, run, fly look like across all these competencies? And can we agree on a common definition? The definition does not have to be perfect. And this is really important. This is not about perfection. This is about, if we look at this image of this radar, whether it's team health or DevOps or the role of a Scrum Master, are we at least 90% aligned that this is what we want to achieve and this would be the right path? And if everybody says yes, then great, then now take them on the journey. And the journey is to make time to measure on a quarterly basis. Some things we measure every 6 months, but we at minimum try to measure every quarter how the teams are doing and where they need to improve. And then the most important part of all of this is making time for improvement. If the teams have paused, if they have said, okay, this is where we are today, you have to give them the time to improve. They're going to pick 2 things or 3 things that they're going to work on to get better. That does need to be added to their backlog. So our backlog should not just include the work, the features, the work that we're getting done. We should also have an improvement backlog. What are we doing? And what are the obstacles that are getting in their way? In Agility Health, we've identified that there are 3 types of metrics that really matter. Maturity, think about these as the practices and the behavior of your teams. Are they doing these practices the right way? Do they actually have the right meetings? Are they self-organizing? Do they know how to break stories down? Is the product owner's role effective? Performance data is around how much are they getting done? So how many features are they delivering? Is there the right quality? What about their speed? What about their effectiveness? How fast do they recover if we have a problem in production? That's called MTTR, mean time to recover. And then of course, my passion is around outcomes and OKRs. So, okay, they got a lot of work done. They have some good practices and behaviors, but is it valuable? Is anybody using it? Are the customers happy? Is this even being adopted? So those are called outcomes and OKRs. So if you take nothing from this webinar, I hope this is the one thing that you take, which is at every level of an organization, you really want to ask those three questions. How mature are my team? Are they performing? And are they delivering outcomes? And if I had to only pick one metric out of all of them that really matters, it will probably be outcomes. But a lot of companies are not right now mature yet with measuring outcomes. But once you do, outcomes is the metric that matters. And then what you'll find is performance and maturity are leading indicators. They tell you, why are you not achieving outcomes? Let me pause over here. Anu, are there any questions that you see or anybody that wants to raise your hand to ask a question or provide comments or feedback here? I want to make this more interactive.
Hi, Sally. This is Dalton. Hi, Anu. Thank you for putting this together. You know, I particularly loved the aspect of not using measurement, you know, as a punitive measure or metrics rather as punitive measures, you know, or probably as a reward mechanism, because really that's what you see in a lot of organizations and on a lot of teams. And as part of our roles as agile coaches or scrum masters, we'll have to not only focus on the teams, but also to orientate or educate leadership, you know, on how well to actually use metrics, because a lot of times they fall into the pit, you know, of using these to kind of evaluate one team against the other, especially when they're beginning to do comparative, you know, analysis of the metrics from different teams, you know, across sprints and all of that. So it's something that we really need to be on top of, you know, to ensure that this really doesn't happen. Because as soon as it happens, just like you rightly said, Sally, whatever metrics you see at the end of the day, I mean, going forward would just be gained, because everyone knows that, well, the ultimate purpose for these metrics is really, you know, to kind of see how teams are doing well, comparing them with one another, and then begin to game the system. And then you really never really have the transparency that Agile promotes, right? So we just need to be 10 steps ahead, you know, of leadership and also the team. So keep coaching them, keep educating them, and letting them know that, hey, this is not the reason for these metrics. And honestly, it's a huge struggle, especially when you're dealing with large organizations, you know, and you have to walk through the various hierarchical structures, you know, to just to communicate that to everyone concerned. I just thought to share that with you.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. I emphasize and over communicate this message. And when a company comes to us and wants to use Agility Health, we now don't just turn on the platform. We have a lot of webinars that we do like this for leaders and executives and teams. And that is the main message that we have, is don't monkey with the data. Don't mess around with the data. We have really valuable data, but if you use it the wrong way, you're actually losing the value, because your teams and your organization can really improve if you allow them to be open and honest and have psychological safety. So what do we measure? What do we measure at every level? One of the things that I wanted to share with you is when somebody comes to us and says, I want to measure, where do I start? I would say that at the organizational level, at the highest level, like at the portfolio level, there are two radars that we have in our platform that you could look at. One of them is called EBA, Enterprise Business Agility. And Enterprise Business Agility, I'm just going to take you here so you can see what it looks at. But Enterprise Business Agility is, hey, I want to assess, how am I doing from a customer seat at the table in product management? How am I doing as a portfolio on my lean portfolio management practices and funding models and outcome-based planning? How am I doing in my org structure and design? This is all of the stuff that you saw in those in that journey that I shared with you. Are we actually changing our organizational structure? Did we look at our roles? How am I doing from an agile perspective? Have I applied it well to technology teams? Have I scaled it? Are business teams adopting agility? What about my leadership and my culture? Have I brought my leaders and my managers on this journey of agility? And have I thought about making it stick? And how you make a transformation stick is by building internal change agents, internal coaches, making sure that you're measuring and growing at every step of the process, and making sure that HR has a seat at the table and they are helping you develop talent and identify talent gaps. The seventh pillar in EBA is technology agility, and that is basically digital transformation, architecture, technical excellence. This radar is the one that we normally recommend using for each line of business, because it helps you kind of just get a nice lens around business agility overall, around the 7 pillars. And that is what that video was. The video basically was a summary of the enterprise business agility. So that is what we recommend over here. We also have the digital transformation radar. Now we go at the team level. So again, people say, if I only had to pick 1 or 2, which one would they be? So I would say at minimum, do the EBA assessment at the portfolio level, and then do the team health radar. Team health, what is team health? Let me just take you real quickly so you can see what the team health radar covers. But team health is sort of the benchmark. It's the heart and soul, because honestly, agility does not happen without healthy teams. And so in order for me to be a healthy team, I should have clarity on my vision and purpose. I should know how to plan as a team. We should have clarity on roles and responsibilities. As a team, we should perform, and we measure performance, what we call gut feel. Does the team feel confident they're going to meet the current goals? Does the product owner feel confident? Do the stakeholders? So that's called a gut check indicator. But we also want quantitative metrics. The quantitative metrics are predictability, time to market, value, quality, and responsiveness. A team is also evaluated based on the leadership team that helps that team, and that is the scrum master, the technical leads, the product owner, and the managers of that team. How are they performing? Does this team have the right culture? Are they happy? Do they trust and respect each other? Are they collaborating? And then do they have the right foundation? The foundation is sustainable pace, the right technical excellence. Do they plan? Are they the right size and skills? And so this is what we call the team health. So if you had to start anywhere, if I can only pick one, it would be team. You got to make sure your teams are healthy, because your teams are at the heart and soul of your transformation. But if you are able to, I would also do enterprise business agility for the leaders, because you want to bring the leaders on this journey and you want to show them that Agile is beyond, business agility is beyond Agile and Scrum at the team level. There's so much more to it. And then some of the other things that we measure is DevOps, at the product level or product maturity. And we also do have companies and teams that say, actually, we are really focused on talent development. So I want to mature my Agile coaches. I want to have better Scrum Masters. I want to have better product owners. So again, when you go away from this seminar, whether you use our platform or not, I want you to think about, if I'm trying to create a measure and grow strategy, I want you to think about each of those levels. What is your measurement and continuous improvement strategy for talent development? What are you thinking about doing for teams? What are you thinking about doing for the product layer? And what are you thinking about doing at the portfolio layer? We just covered the team health radar, so I won't go through it again. And this basically helps you understand, where is it that the teams are doing well? Where is it that they need to improve? There was something that a gentleman just mentioned, which is comparing teams. So one of the things that we talk about is, it is actually very helpful to analyze the data across teams without exposing the names of the teams. Like in this radar that I'm showing you right now, this is an actual product line that has 8 or 9 different teams. I'm going to pause and ask you, what do you guys see as patterns? What is interesting here? Do you see anything that is a pattern across all of your teams, an area that maybe needs your attention?
Hi, Sally. That's one again. So in the area of culture, they really need to do a whole lot to work on that dimension. And then also, for most of the teams, looks like the product owners really need some help, and in terms of foundation, looks like while if you are doing well, some other teams need some help, to just kind of, maybe they are new teams. I mean, that's what comes across to me, just reading this on an immediate basis. So, overall, there are areas and dimensions that really need some work, over time and improvement. So let me just pause for now for all that.
Yeah, no, those are very good observations. every transformation has limited budget. There's not a lot of money. So if I have very limited budget, I want to use data as a way of informing me, where should I invest? One of the things that I can tell you, because we know this, is that leadership is an input to clarity. So anytime that we see that some of the numbers in clarity are not good, we normally look down and say, is it the Scrum Master? Is it the product owner? Where is it that we need to improve? Because clarity increases if you have stronger leadership. So I can tell you the root cause of why you probably you're struggling with, some of the clarity around planning and vision could be the product owner, and could also be some of the scores on the Scrum Master over here. So that's exactly the goal from analyzing data, is to identify what's the low-hanging fruit. Where is it that I'm going to invest in training or coaching? But it's not to compare team, it's not to judge them, and it's not to say that this team is better than that team. Please fire this team, please hire that other. If you start doing that, nobody will ever be truthful. This entire radar next time will all be high. Everybody will be 10. Because they know what's going to happen if they say that they're not a 10. So that is actually something very important for us in Agility Health. And when we look at this radar in our platform, we actually remove the names of the teams for depending on who's looking at it, because we just don't want it to be used for judgment.
Sally, a quick question, please, if you don't mind. Now, where you, as probably the Agile coach or the Scrum Master in presenting to leadership, right, hide the names of the teams, and they're insisting on saying the names of the team, how do you deal with that? Because situations like that happen, and then that probably could be very embarrassing, and probably, it's just a tough situation to handle at that time.
I like to, ahead of the meeting, I like to let leaders know why this meeting, we're going to be looking at the data, and we're going to be looking at them with anonymous teams. So they're just called team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4. And that the main purpose is to analyze the data and focus on the data and focus on the improvement plans and what the teams have said they need help with. But it's not to say, but tell me more about this team or that team. So what I found is educating leaders ahead of these kind of meetings of what they're going to expect out of the meetings. There are some leaders that maybe they are the managers of those teams, and they do want to see the names of the teams because they're the ones accountable for removing the obstacles. No problem. We can have a separate meeting with them and actually share with them, and here's what the teams came up with. But what I don't want to do is, in a very big public setting with all the executives there, share the names of the teams and have the executives now feel like there's a competition between them, and the name of my team, why are my teams scoring low? Because once executives feel like they are being compared to each other, or managers, then they start to act honestly in a very destructive way to make sure that the next time this report shows up that they look good. So I think that it's just about change management and educating leaders ahead of time what they're going to see, why they're going to see it this way, and let them know that if they do have detailed questions, there's an opportunity for that, but it's not in this public setting. And it has to be with the spirit of helping the teams, not judging or comparing or punishing or rewarding.
Thank you. That was really helpful.
So this is an analysis we just did. We have a lot of data in Agility Health. I'm very blessed that we have so many international companies and large organizations in the United States that use Agility Health. So we have thousands of data points. We hired University of Nebraska at Omaha about 7 years ago, but we just rehired them again and said, hey, can you update your research across 46,000 team members? Can you tell me what drives performance? So I was very interested because performance for us, which is predictability, time to market, quality, value, responsiveness, those are now quantitative metrics within Agility Health. We're able to get quantitative metrics. And we wanted to know, what is it on this radar that teams are actually focusing on that's driving the highest performance? And so we did. We looked at the teams that have the highest performance and saw these were the these were the metrics, these were the actual competencies that were driving them. Weekly iteration planning was number 1. Number 2 was generalizing specialist, having T-shaped individuals. So people on the team that it's not just, I'm just a tester, but maybe I'm willing to test front end and back end. I'm a back end developer, but I'm willing to do front end development as well. I'm a business analyst, but I'm willing to do testing. Basically, having people that are T-shaped, which means that they are not just specialized in their role, they are willing to help in other roles as needed. The third one was planning and estimating. So breaking work down, sizing it and planning it based on capacity. So teams that were stronger in planning and estimating also had the highest performance. Creativity and innovation, hallelujah, because I did not think this was going to show up in the top 5, but I was so excited because we know when you empower teams to solve problems and find solutions themselves, now we actually have data that says they will be higher performing than teams where you are dictating the solution to them. So creativity and innovation and teams finding their own solutions is a direct correlation to high performing teams. And then another big hallelujah, self-organization. I love these because self-organization is also about delegating decisions down, telling the teams what the problem is, but letting them design the solution. The fact that when you really look at this, creativity, innovation, and self-organization came up as some of the top drivers for team performance just really tells you that in order for Agile to succeed, you're going to have to use a mix of Agile practices, the daily stand-up, the planning meeting, the scrum, the retrospective, the story writing, but you're also going to have to adopt some of the Agile cultural values and mindset, such as creativity, self-organization, T-shaped individuals. These are not practices in the Scrum Guide, but these are, well, maybe they are actually in the Scrum Guide now, but these are mindsets, these are cultural values. And we now have data that you can quote directly from Agility Health that these are the 5 that actually drove 37% higher performance in the teams that have adopted those. So I just wanted to share that with you because I thought it was really, really exciting news and exciting research that came up, and we're going to be publishing a big article and a white paper around this. We looked about confidence and happiness. So in addition to the quantitative metrics, I also said, well, what drives team confidence and happiness? And a couple more, roles and expectations and the teams being the right size and skill also showed up as drivers for confidence and happiness of the team. Let's go to the learn. So I kind of shared a lot with you about the measure and grow. I want to take you into the learn, but let me look at my time just to see how much time I've got. Only a couple. Anu, do we only have 2 minutes left? I know we started a little bit late. Do you want me to go on for 5 more minutes, or how would you like to end on time?
You can go on for next 20 minutes. Some people will drop off and some people will still hang around.
Okay, all right, great. We started a little bit later because I think there was confusion on the Zoom link. So I'll keep going. If any of you need to drop off right away, no worries. I will not take it personally. Thank you for being here. If you don't mind, Jenny or Scott, please do share the evaluation link. So if any of you want to get access to this, the PDF, happy to send that to you right after this. What I wanted to share with you is now let's go to learn. Remember, it's learn, measure, grow. One of the things that we've learned because of COVID and because everybody working from home right now, it is very important that when you're thinking about creating a learning roadmap, you don't think about it only from a training perspective because people don't have that much capacity anymore to learn online on 2-day and 3-day training workshops. They want smaller, shorter modules. So even if you're going to provide training, make sure it's half-day sessions, they're lighter weight sessions, but definitely include e-learning, include on-demand videos as part of your strategy for what it is that you want to do to help them learn. Because people have to learn at their own time, at their own pace, in addition to going to classroom training. So this is what we have on agilevideos.com. Agilevideos.com is the largest online library for Agile learning. Very proud to have that out there. We have topics on introduction to Scrum, roles and responsibility. My favorite, and the one that many of you have already watched, is the day in the life of an Agile team. I think it's the dysfunctional daily stand-up. The dysfunctional daily stand-up, almost all Agile coaches like to play that in some of their training courses because it's very funny. And it was a real Agile team in Omaha, Nebraska that we brought them together, like real developers, real testers, and we basically simulated all of the activities of Agile so somebody can watch it. We've got some Kanban videos, servant leadership, business agility. Feel free to register. If somebody, I don't know, if somebody can copy this link and post it in the chat, all of you have access to agilevideos.com. Anu, do you remember what did we set up? Was this 1 month or 3 months access?
3 months access. 3
months access. So you've got 3 months access to agilevideos.com. We normally only do 2 weeks, but because we love Anu and because this is Africa, you have 3 full months access. You can watch and binge watch as many videos as you'd like. Obviously, if you are interested in using this within your company, let us know. We're happy to talk to you about that. So please.
So Pooja, Sally said Africans, not Indians. I'm joking. No. I'm joking. No. Pooja is an Indian African woman.
We love you, Pooja. Indian, African, you know, as long as you've got any DNA from the motherland, please join Africa Agility on the website.
I love you too, Sally. Thank you so much.
Shit.
For you today, I really wanted to take you through this journey of learning and this journey of measure. There is a large bank in the United States that have adopted Measure and Grow. And some people always say, you know, does this really work? Can you share with me an example of does it work? So I wanted to share very quickly with you, this bank has about 90 teams. They've been doing Agile and specifically using Scaled Agile and SAFe for about 3 years. Doing a lot of the INA, the inspect and the adapt, but it was very hard for them to see patterns across their team because everything was sort of in Excel and PowerPoint. This was the result of their program health, their multi-team roll-up. And this is a lot of the words that came out of these assessments. And what was really interesting is the leaders said, after they saw all this, this is real. They said, this is data-driven. We have to do something about it. When so many teams are telling you the same thing over and over again, it's no longer subjective. This is really objective data. It's something that really is a problem. And so I'm very proud of them because they sort of organized what we call them team growth items and organizational growth items. There was a lot that showed up here, but they organized it in the right kind of a backlog. And they were very intentional about making sure that they remove these obstacles. So at the team level, they actually completed 900 team growth items across those 90 teams. At the organizational level, they completed 391 items. And at the enterprise level, they completed 39. What was the result of that? The result was an actual improvement in the maturity of the team, in the quantitative performance. They said that the epics that they delivered had increased by 267% within 30 days. The teams felt like they were more predictable. They felt more aligned to the outcomes. So we're not talking about foo-foo stuff here. We're not talking about feel-good stuff. We are talking about using measurement and continuous improvement as a way of truly accelerating the performance of your teams and truly using data to make informed decisions. So that's kind of what I wanted to end with. And just a reminder, before we go into Q&A, I'd like to spend 10 minutes answering any questions. Please do sign up and start watching the videos. That video that I shared with you, the explainer, is on our website, and it's also on agilevideos.com under the Business Agility course. It's like video number 2 under Business Agility. So there's really great videos you can share with your executives. And if you ever want to talk to us, this is our email address. We also have Scott here with us if you want to follow up with him. And then this is how you can fill out our evaluation sheet, and we're happy to send you and email you the PDF. So I'm going to exit from this and let's just chit chat. Let's take questions, comments, feedback, anything that I can help you with. I'm going to send the, let's see, where is the everyone over here? And then there's the evaluation form. Okay, great. So ask me anything. Ask me about my family, about Sudan, or about Agile. Anything.
So, Sally, oh, sorry to interrupt. This is Tammy.
Hello?
I had a question.
Yeah.
So with the assessment questions where you have all the options of the crawl, walk, and all of that, so is that a one size fits all for all organizations that use the Agility Health, or could, because for instance, an organization might say, this doesn't fit, like maybe a 5 or a run could be something different for that particular organization?
Good question. I'm going to give you 2 answers. It's there's a yes answer and there's a no. So I'm going into here. I'm just going to share with you. So this is like Dawn and Divas. Dawn and Divas is a team that's been doing its assessment. If the organization wants to benchmark, do you see this little benchmark over here? So this is the detailed view. If the organization cares about benchmarking and they really want to benchmark against everybody in Agility Health, and they want to see, 115 other companies, 1,600 other teams, how are we doing? Are we above average? Are we below average? Then sticking with the questions that we have is going to be beneficial for them. They can always give us feedback, and I will tell you, we know how to add or modify a few of the questions, still keeping the benchmark radar by customer. So if it's a minor modification, we can make minor modifications by customer. But some customers might say, I don't care about the benchmark. I don't care about sticking with the way that others have defined crawl, walk, run, fly. We want to own our own questions. We want to build our own survey. Well, then no problem. Then basically it is their team health radar. They can customize and tailor all of it. And we do sometimes get customers that say that. To be honest with you, I see it because the team health radar is so mature. I don't see a lot of people changing this one as much, but I definitely see it for all the other ones, like the DevOps radar, the role-based radars for sure are always modified. The business agility radar sometimes is modified. So there is the flexibility, but I always have to inform them. It doesn't matter to us, but I always have to inform them, once you create something that's customized, then you have to maintain it in the future moving forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Other questions?
Yeah, Sally, I have a question that goes quite a few years back. I stumbled across your video back in 2012, and I recommended it to well over 1,000 people. Now, my question to you is, what has kept you going? And I know right about now, I want to call you a general. You're a major general. Why are you still in this war?
Oh my goodness, what keeps me going? I'm kind of like Anu. I don't stop. I'm always thinking about, how can I have a bigger impact on the world? I always say, it's a little girl from Africa came to the United States with a big mission and vision of transforming the world. But in order for you to do that, you have to take it one step at a time. And so, it started with us with just Agile videos and providing training and coaching. And then, Agility Health for me was really our very innovation around measurements and continuous improvement. And then we started to see companies come from all around the world and partners come from around the world. And now my biggest passion is, transforming Africa and helping Sudan. So I just think that all of us have something that drives us. And for me, it's impact. It's really making a difference. People think it's everybody thinks, well, since she's an entrepreneur, she's so successful, it must be money. I don't even know how much I have in a bank account. Money is not what drives me at all. It's impact. Are you making a difference? Are you changing people's lives? And where can you do that at scale? And like what you just said, one video from me going to 1,000 people and changing anything in their mindset, I've made an impact then. So that is what keeps me going, is continuing to make an impact. I do everything that I do from my heart, and people that know me know that. So I'm very genuine about that. And I believe my book one day is going to be called, Be Bold, Be Real, and Lead with Love. Those are my three leadership mantras. So being bold, because I have very big dreams. Being real is I just speak from the heart, and I definitely have a big heart. I lead with love. So I don't know if that answered your question, but that's sort of what drives me.
Yes, spot on. I'm happy that you launched the book here first, so that's all good for me.
coming soon.
All right, thanks.
A question. And again, I'm one of those people you've inspired with your videos. So I'm going back to Scrum 101, right? And that video was like 10, 11, maybe 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Still being watched.
Yeah. And you look the same. So my question is, how have you kept that up, looking the same from those videos? And I still send those videos to a lot of new Scrum Masters. Hey, look at this. It's a real simulation. It's fun. But at some point it ends. So I'm like, okay, where's 103 or 105? I'm like, but that's a question.
You're so sweet. I have to tell you, most people don't realize, and I think you guys will begin to see this. I'm just going to take you there now, that the videos that you see basically on YouTube have more to them. So when you go to agilevideos.com, I'm showing you right here, agilevideos.com, if you scroll down, look at the Agile simulation. So when you guys get access to the video, to the library on that link to register, look at the Agile simulation. The video course that they think is the funniest one, the video is the dysfunctional daily stand-up. This one, the dysfunctional daily stand-up is hilarious. So you might want to start there, but there are 23 videos that show you how do you do sprint planning, grooming, writing stories, prioritization, story sizing, even conflict within the iteration. So grab your popcorn. It's very funny. They're kind of a funny set of videos. So go to agilevideos.com. That's where you're going to find the rest of the videos, and many of them are free. So like the intro to Scrum course, like some of these videos there's no cost to them, even if people didn't register. They're already open. How do I look the same? I recently used keto. Anybody here on keto with me on a keto diet? So I lost 25 pounds on keto. And then I also say hair dye. Just make sure you've got your black hair dye for all the gray hair. That also comes in handy every now and then.
I'll jump on that keto diet and dye my hair and,
do it.
Can I add more to that, Sally? And lead with love and be real and be bold. You look younger.
Keto, man, I tell you, it really, for anybody that hasn't looked into keto, I just absolutely love it. It's become my lifestyle right now. So I drink water all the time. I skip breakfast, basically do intermittent fasting. And then when I eat, I just eat healthy and I don't eat any sugar anymore. It's all the keto friendly carbs. So it's magical, and it's really good for your diabetes. If you have diabetes or if you have a sugar problem, it's I don't know. I mean, anyway, I can do a whole webinar on keto next time.
So Sally, I have a question for you. So where do you see Sudan in the next 5 years?
Oh my gosh, I have such big dreams for Sudan, but they go so slowly because a revolution is a big thing. We've had a dictator in that country for 30 years. And you guys know how dictators are. I mean, they eat into the fabric of your culture. People themselves have changed. There's a lot of young people that have never been educated the right way. The education system, everything is just fallen apart to the core. So in the next 5 years, my dream is to build a much solid foundation for the country on education, on agriculture. So agriculture is like unbelievable for Sudan. Leadership, Agile. Everybody now knows what Agile is in Sudan because they've heard me talk about it a million times. And you know what's beautiful about Agile in Sudan? Nobody knows it's for technology. We never introduced it for the tech scene. It's just a way of working for teams. So everybody does not even know that Agile, or they don't even say, but how does this apply to my industry? So we never get that question because we've immediately introduced it as just a way for teams to work. So in the next 5 years, I really hope Sudan is going to build a much solid foundation for their economy. I hope they're going to leapfrog forward. Leapfrog as in find out what's the latest and greatest that's happened everywhere and start from there. The nice thing in a country like Sudan, even though it's so behind, but we don't have mainframe systems. So because we've never had them. So you can just move to the cloud right away. All of your government systems, all of your systems can be immediately in the cloud. So you can really leapfrog because some of the legacy, they've never had waterfall. They've had some PMI stuff, which we can work on, but it's just a huge opportunity. And it's not just Sudan alone, it's Sudan and Africa. It is time for Africa to shine for real in the world. I really think that just our youth, we have so many young people. You've taught me this, Anu. I think the youth in the world are centered in Africa. We have the most youth and they're talented and they're hungry. Look at us, right? I mean, look at all of us here. I mean, we're hungry. We're here to succeed. We want to make a difference. We want to make an impact. We're very genuine about what we do. So I think it's just time. It's time for Africa to rise. And definitely I'll be paying attention to Sudan, but, hand in hand with you and others, seeing what can we do to the rest of Africa.
I just want to add a few things to what you've mentioned there, Sally. Thank you so much for raising that, rallying call. I reflect a lot based on the teachings that I learned from you many, many years ago. And I often find myself pondering and asking the question, where are our people? What holds us back from showing up? When there's a call for people to, I'm sorry, I'm talking a bit slowly because I'm just recuperating from an illness, so my energy level is a little bit slow. We don't show up where it matters. So for everyone here, let's reflect and consider, what is it that holds us back as people from a similar cultural background, such that we don't think that we are capable of standing on the world platform. Sally's been there. Anna's been there. Sally's been there for many, many years. And she's still got the same level of energy going. She's done countless videos. She's invested a great deal of her time. Some of us have watched her videos and some of us are helping others to get up there, but it's still not enough. You know, we need to look ourselves in the mirror and ask, what is holding us back? And then we need to address whatever it is that's holding us back and rise up and claim our stage where it matters. We are the leaders of the world, but we don't realize it. We have everything that it takes, and we just need to stop being followers and become leaders that we are, and utilize our skills and our expertise, and then bring others up with us as we go along. No single one of us can do it on our own. It takes a lot of collaborative effort, a lot of cooperation, a lot of networking, a lot of togetherness to get there. What more can I say?
That should be a TED Talk.
And just to add on top of that, I'm going to make 3 calls. And the first call is, okay, are you ready? And the first call is, you've learned so much from Sally today. Bring Agility Health to your organization. Help your organization to transform and be agile instead of doing agile. You know, if you want improvement in your organization, Agility Health is one of those tools, measurements, platform out there that you can use to make that big impact and create that sustainable transformational change for your organization. So Scott, do you want to share email or how people can connect with Agility Health team? Maybe share something, or if you have something that you'd like to share more to what Sally have said, you can speak, or you can share how to contact or connect with the team.
Yes, I've dropped in the chat my email address.
Awesome.
And the team can send me an email directly and I will follow up with information that they request.
Sounds wonderful.
Thank you. Just initiate a call. You don't know what could happen. You know, get the right people to have meeting with Sally and our team. Secondly and thirdly, I will combine both together. You've heard so much about what Africa Agility, Africa Next Gen, and Sudan Next Gen is doing. In September, we are also equipping, African Agility is equipping 100 undergraduates and unemployed female graduates with digital skills, providing mentorship, opportunity for internship, and also entrepreneurship opportunity for them. We are looking for sponsors. You know, Sally and myself and many of us, we spent a lot of our own money to make this happen. Uncle Femi, sorry, I know you hear that word, uncle, you know, was talking about, let's step up and make things happen for our continents, for our countries. This is a way that you can support. We're also looking for trainers and mentors for Africa Next Gen. So, Okwe, do you want to drop the link on how people can support us with any amount? We will be very grateful. Also, Sally is bringing a change that has never happened in Sudan before to Sudan in January. The training, the 3-month boot camp for youth is happening in January. We are also looking for sponsors, financial sponsors especially right now, to make that program happen. And Sally, I think that will cost about, was it about $30,000 for the Sudan program, or $40,000? I can't remember. So beautiful. Sally, thank you for sharing the link on how people can donate to support the Sudan Next Gen initiative.
I just want to mention the priority right now is yours, because yours is coming first. So I want to sure any donations really focus on Anu's in Nigeria, and then ours is starting in December. So yeah, just put your link there,
and people can donate to both as well. So Okwe, can you throw the link? I don't know if you are still here.
I want to give one final message, Anu, because I think we're going to end soon, because you asked a really important question, what's holding us back? And I want you to know what holds us back is us. Like, we hold ourselves back because of our lack of confidence, because when we grew up, somebody told us we are not worthy, we can't do something big. Because we doubt ourselves. There's a whole book called Positive Intelligence that tells you about what is the negative Nelly that keeps telling you in your head that you're not capable, you're not going to succeed, and fear. And the only reason I have become successful in this world, one is God's grace, but secondly is my mother never taught me to be afraid. And I always tell that story is that, if it wasn't for my mother teaching me that I'm capable of doing anything that I put my mind to, I would be afraid, I'd hold back. I wouldn't be, so confident that I could transform the world or have a company that's international or, have an amazing group. We have about, 65 to 70 employees here in Omaha in the United States. And I'm very proud of that because I like to create jobs for people and have a company in the United States that is employing people. So, I want to just make sure that that the only thing that holds you back is yourself and your own belief in your capability of moving a big vision forward. So definitely be bold and have very big, bold dreams and have confidence. And it's okay if you don't make it the first time. Like I failed 100 times, I made a lot of mistakes. It's okay. You just keep trying again and again. It's not a big deal.
So Mark, sorry, you said you have a question.
Yes.
Are you still here, Mark? Okay, I don't know if you're still here.
Yeah, I know. I have a question if Mark's not here yet. So Sally, what is your, like, maybe the top outcome for Agility Health? What was in your mind when you created it?
I mean, every large company or medium company that's transforming, I really want them to use the platform as a way of hearing the voice of their teams and helping them grow. So I look at Agility Health as a way, so any big company that you hear of, they're all on my target list. So, small, medium, large, government, I really want them to leverage Agility Health, our videos. I want them to listen to the voice of their teams, remove obstacles for them, help them grow genuinely, and honestly learn Agile the right way. It's not about a methodology. I think, this concept of continuous improvement, which is measuring and improving, is the only thing that's going to stay for the long term. We're always going to have a new buzzword. It might be DevOps now, it might be DevSecOps, it might be Scrum, it might be Kanban, but none of these things are going to go away. I think we just have to get into that mindset of we will continuously measure and grow, and we got to take the voice of the team into what we're doing. We can't just come top down and say, you now shall adopt, this next thing. What do the teams want? What are they telling you the problems are? Listen to their voice.
Thou shall adopt.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sally. If there is no other question, we'll be bringing this to a close. But before we round up, a lot of you are dropping your emails. We are not going to capture all these emails. So if you registered for this webinar, for this event, expect an email from us. I think it will come directly from me and through constant contact. So today, Sally, are we going to have the deck today or tomorrow?
No problem. And I will just send you the PDF.
The PDF, yes. Okay.
And then you can email it to everybody. If you filled out the evaluation form, that's amazing too.
Okay.
Have your contact information, but Anu will send you the PDF. And you've got Scott's email address. You've got Anu's email address. If you want to follow up with us, we're happy to.
Okay, awesome. So before we leave, finally, I would love you to appreciate Sally. 2 words or less. Just let's give it up for Sally. Let's appreciate her if she has impacted you in the last, not just with, okay, actually, Uncle Femi, thank you. Let's do hand clap, unmute yourself.
People can turn their cameras on if they want to.